Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the Tales of Recovery podcast. Today, my friend Naz is here to share with us some of her story. We were just talking about what we were going to talk about, all of it, right? Open book, herbalism, earth, whatever healing experience that you've had, our dark stuff. So it's going to be great. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. I'm really excited. It's been a long time coming.
See, yeah.
Um, and just, yeah, I'm really excited just to be here, to be in community and to just be able to share from my heart
Mm,
and to have this beautiful, just conversation in regards to what life is and how life has been from my perspective.
right. Yeah. And y tu fuerza, ¿no? To navigate it. I think I met you years and years and years ago. I think we've both have kind of seen each other's journey and the growth. And I was asking Nazdira, how do I introduce you? You know, Nazdira Cuevas, herbalist, medicine woman, community liaison, resource, educator, mother, daughter, sister, big sister, food is medicine, child of the earth, todo, you know? I was
Sí.
like, oh, that's so beautiful because that's who you are. And so I don't know how we're going to start this, if we just want to kind of, because I have a lot of questions about healing, food is healing and herbs is healing instead of, I mean, I don't like to go to the doctor and getting any of their prescriptions. It's been years and I'm like, no, no, no.
Yeah,
You know,
same for
kind of like
me.
how we grew up.
Yeah.
And then I drank a little Kool-Aid a little bit, porque pues you think that's the way it is, and then you're like,
Mm-hmm.
wait a minute, this the Kool-Aid is making me sick.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to the herbs and the tea. So, um, I mean, you know, just whatever. Why don't we start with like, I don't know, should we start with the dark part?
Yeah, let's start there. That's the juicy part.
That's the juicy part.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned you had, you know, you want to talk about alcoholism and
Yeah.
kind of how that, um, yeah, a little bit about how that pain was being numbed by alcohol and how you worked your way through it.
Yeah, I would love to share about that. I think,
Let's go.
alcohol in my family has been something that has been a really huge it's just really affected our family very, very tragically. And I grew up in a family that my grandfather was an alcoholic, a severe alcoholic, and unfortunately he passed away due to his alcoholism. And a lot of the members in my family were alcoholics. And so I grew up in that environment. And when I was in my 20s till my 30s, I was drinking a lot, and it took me to some really dark places. Um, all of the things that I had experienced as a child kind of came out during that time, and I was numbing all of that with alcohol
Did you grow
because
up in Mexico or
I
San
grew
Diego?
up in Mexico and I grew up in LA. I,
Okay.
I grew up in both. I was born in LA, and then my mother took me to Mexico when I was 9 months old.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was almost nine, I came back to
Okay.
LA. And so I moved a
Back
lot.
and forth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot, and kind of just uprooted, not really having much grounding. Pero sí, te digo, the alcoholism has been something that I don't really talk about because I felt a lot of shame, but it did take me to a lot of places um, where I almost died quite a few times.
Wow.
But it wasn't my time to go. And so the last time was a really, really intense time. And I felt very suicidal during that time. And so I went and I sought help. And I sought help by calling different therapists, but I found a hypnotherapist. And that hypnotherapist is the one that really helped me change my life.
How old were you when this happened?
Mm, 32?
So the hypnotherapist um was here in San Diego
Yeah, the
and okay.
hypnotherapist was here in San Diego, and I found her because I was working for the school district, and, you know, yeah, almost dying, getting a DUI.
Okay.
and having to, man, I'm really gonna go into this one, huh?
Yeah.
Going to like just like all the legal stuff that went with it was really hard. But I called for my insurance company. I called the insurance company and asked to be referred to a therapist. They told me to go online. I found her. I reached out to her. She told me that I don't know how I found her, but that my she
Take
wasn't under
insurance.
my insurance. She didn't take my insurance. But by the grace of
Goddess.
Goddess, she gave me about 10 free sessions.
Oh, wow.
And that changed a lot of the trauma that I was navigating. It helped me process a lot of it and helped me really do a lot of healing in this realm,
Mhm.
in the upper realms. And that helped me then be able to do what I wanted to do because I've always wanted to be of service.
Mhm.
I've always wanted to help. I grew up with a lot of trauma, and I knew that that wasn't the right way to live.
Yeah.
And I wanted to help children, I wanted to protect children,
Yeah.
and just be a safe space. And I couldn't do that because I was living in my trauma so much.
Right.
So once I was able to get the support that I did with the therapist, with the hypnotherapist, that, just changed the trajectory of my life. And I was able to, like, then it opened doors for me to be able to do yoga and heal through yoga, and also use other modalities to be able to heal myself.
So the hypnotherapist, if it's okay for me to ask, like, what did she tell you? Like, how did you? Because I had to stop drinking, going through NA meetings every
Mm-hmm.
day for like years. I mean, as soon as I got there, I didn't drink, but I couldn't stop going. It was like, so I'm just wondering, like, what did the hypnotherapist tell you, or what did you discover through that? How were you able to not go get a drink?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I did go to AA because
Okay.
of the legal stuff,
Oh,
and
right.
that was very humbling.
I know.
Very, very
Same
humbling.
here.
And it also opened up doors for me to see that, I am just like everybody else in that place. And where I used to go was in the one in downtown, where the majority of the homeless people would be in the morning, early in the morning, because I had to do it before I went to work. And sometimes I would have to take my little girl with me,
Wow.
and we would sit there
Wow.
and she would be with me. And this was very, again, very humbling. There's
Humbling.
no way that I could go around it. I needed to do this. And it really showed me that I had to just be more compassionate. It opened up my heart even more.
Yeah.
These opportunities, as hard as they were for me to deal with the shame that I carried because of all of this, it just kept opening up my heart more and more to just the humanity of all of this.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. But what did
Yeah.
she tell me? What did she tell? We went through the childhood trauma that I had experienced, the abandonment issues, the sexual trauma,
Mm.
um, the incest,
Mm.
and we did a lot of healing, forgiving, um, understanding, and just letting go. And it's not easy, and it hasn't been like a
No.
linear line of healing. I go through it every day,
Yeah.
but it's different now.
Yeah. Yeah. The way sometimes I see it, when people ask, "Cómo le hago?" I can't. I need to get rid of it. I'm like, well, I don't really get rid of my trauma. It's just now I have more space for it, like you said, to understand and also know that it's not my fault. It's not my fault. When you're a kid, it's not your fault.
It isn't.
It isn't, but I would feel embarrassed because I thought, oh, well, it's my fault. But so that's part of the healing for me. It's been like understanding it's not my fault, and I don't need to be embarrassed about it. Yo también, I would go to meetings in Tijuana en la calle Sexta with all the teporochitos. I mean, it was like when I turned 1 year sober and my mom came, she was just like, oh, ¿qué es esto? She couldn't even. And I was like,
Yeah.
these are my friends.
Yeah.
These guys are like puro
These are my
corazón.
people. Yeah.
And they're sober,
Yeah.
clean. Because I was in NA, so even más
Yeah.
cabrón.
Yeah.
But thank you for sharing that because it's so powerful when we say these things. Because you never know who's out there listening.
Yeah.
There's hope, there's possibilities.
And these are not things that I talk about often because I've been having to do a lot of healing, and just also want to respect my family, you
Right.
know. But as I get older, I understand that there's things that like have to be spoken because, like you said, that we don't know who's listening,
Right.
and I know that you know I've heard things and I've been able to heal by just reading. I was a reader. I always read.
Okay.
So then the reading is what helped me like understand myself and understand that, all of this is actually not okay
Yeah.
and then going to go and get the help.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and releasing the shame. I think the shame was the biggest thing. I think the shame is what I was trying to numb with the alcohol is the shame that I felt and that I carried with me. And I've done a lot of healing with that. The last session that I had with somebody um that I just had this beautiful session with this woman, um, she helped me release a lot of that healing, that shame, that
Right.
ancestral shame, that shame that is in
Yeah.
my lineage.
Oh yeah. I know. Shame, anger, pain, hurt, anxiety, desesperación, depression, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pues we're lucky that we get to, you know, be able to talk about this and have access to being okay to heal it and process it and say, hey, this isn't mine. Or yeah, it's mine, but can I transmute it? Because like what happens after you go to this therapist? You said you did some body work like yoga.
Mhm.
I know one of the first times that I talked a little bit more with we met at this. We were at South Park Yoga.
Mhm.
I te
Mhm.
encontré, and you said you had just come back from. I think it was a 7-day or 10-day vipassana,
That's right. The
right?
Vipassana retreats.
Uh-huh.
After that I was able to sit with myself.
Yeah.
So I had to learn to sit with myself in silence for days upon days with no eye contact, with no phone, no notebooks, no books, just me in the desert. And it was really beautiful. I went to a 10-day Vipassana retreat. The first one that I went to was in Joshua Tree. I had never been to Joshua Tree. I packed my little car up. I'd never even driven by myself. I think I was kind of very sheltered from all of that, from going to experiences where I felt that I couldn't take up any space.
Mm,
I think that was the biggest thing. I just didn't feel like this was for me.
okay.
Growing up in the family that I grew up in, I think, we always kind of kept our to ourselves. I'm the one that kind of has expanded more and like really has taken up spaces and places where maybe, we think we don't belong. But it was a all women Vipassana retreat, and it was really amazing and transformational to be with myself and to be able to meditate for hours and just sit with all of my things. And it was 1, 2, 3. I think the last one I did was a shorter one. It was about a 3-day one. Um, but I loved it and I love it and I miss it so much.
Yeah.
But these were very transformational. But I don't think that I would have been able to get to that again if I hadn't done the work that I had done with the
Before.
hypnotherapist. Yeah, there was
Yeah.
no way to sit with myself before.
Yeah. That's a big step. You remember your exact words you said. I was like, oh wow, that's great, and because I know I had done one of those retreats. It wasn't like the Vipassana. It was a different teacher, but it was the same silent retreat. Puro meditar, no
Mm-hmm.
talking, no phone. Ya sabes. The
Mm-hmm.
first 2 days, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing here? And then like day 3, day 4, you're like, oh, I can, yeah.
Yeah, you
So it's a
drop in.
process. You drop in. You're like, okay, well, I don't
Yeah.
ever want to go back.
Yeah, that's how I felt. It was so hard to come back.
Hmm.
Yeah, for me, it was really easy to drop in. I
Yeah.
was ready. I was
Yeah.
very prepared to do that, and I loved it. I loved not having to talk to anybody. I worked in education, and I had family, so being around children all the time, you're always talking.
Yeah.
And for me, I was just like, that was a vacation. That was a real vacation.
I
But
remember you said it. I just reset my nervous system.
yeah,
Eso me dijiste.
me acuerdo.
Mm-hmm.
Era tan diferente mi cuerpo. Yo me sentía tan diferente. I never felt that way before.
Yeah.
Um, and then also, I remember that was very close to a time that I had started doing yoga, and I had never experienced shavasana,
Mm-hmm.
and it scared me.
Oh,
I
really?
remember how much it scared me because I couldn't talk afterward. I was so like, they did a gong bath.
Mm-hmm.
This was my first yoga class. They did a gong bath, and just my whole body just received it, and it had never felt this peace,
Mm.
and never felt this peace before. Um, and so it really, all these very pivotal,
Yeah.
shifts,
Yeah.
they were really powerful.
That's interesting. You say that it was scary because a lot of times in the healing journey, or when we're healing from trauma or trying to be better, our body's so used to being in like fight or flight and stress mode and shame that when something good comes, it's like, wait a minute, that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
Love,
Mm-hmm.
calm,
Waiting for the shoe to drop.
see.
Like what's gonna happen?
Mm-hmm.
Can I really trust this?
Right. Yeah. So it
Yeah.
takes time to get in there and be like, yeah, I can trust this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a journey. Yeah. That's one of the things I always like to say here. This process can take 10, 20 years. Hang in there.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
have to start and keep going, but it only gets better once you step in. No?
Yeah. Life continues.
For
Life
sure.
continues. Really tragic things happen.
Yeah.
But I think the perspective shifts within us, or we're able to hold, or I should say, I'm able to hold and have more capacity to hold in a different way and can see the beauty in the tragedy.
Yeah.
You know?
And the fact that this is what happens on Earth. Like,
Yeah.
there's no running from it. People die. There's accidents.
Yeah.
The market goes up and down. What are we gonna do?
Yeah. Fires happen.
Fires happen.
Yeah. Earthquakes happen. War happens. Like, yeah. It's been happening for lifetimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which is another important part of why I really like having you here is throughout this tragedy and this whatever we have to experience on the earth, the biggest, most important, I think, for me is, besides my own personal work and healing, is the community, the people we surround ourselves with.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to talk about that, like who supported you through this, because usually, pues, it's usually not our like blood family, right? It's usually,
No.
bless them, we came through them, honor y respeto, but
Sí. I had to step away from my family to go do my work.
Right.
And heal, and then be able to come back to my family stronger, more assured of who I was, to be able to be um an influence, a good influence to my family, because I knew what I wanted, but I had to step away.
Right.
And who has helped me? Gosh, there's been so many people. I've been so blessed. Honestly, I've been so blessed. And unfortunately, I'm not really good at names. I forget names. But I will name the people that I know off the top of my head that have been such a pivotal influence in my life. Erin Yaya Merriman, she's been like a sister to me for so many years, and she helped me open doors to new ways of being that I didn't know were possible. Marisha, my current teacher now from School of the Sacred Wild, she has also been a huge influence in my life and has helped me open doors to opportunities that I did not know were possible. Those two women have been huge in my life. I've been really, really blessed.
So maybe I could ask you this now, because I was gonna say, like, how did you get into? I mean, you mentioned that, right? Yaya, the Medicine Mandala, Marisha, the School of the Sacred Wild, and then you get into, okay, I am the medicine, and where are these herbs and these earth based ancestral ways of connecting to our magic. Maybe you want to
Mm-hmm.
talk about that.
Yeah.
¿Cómo le
So
llegaste?
I want to talk about real quickly about the fact that all the women that I have relationships with that are my friends, that are my sisters, that are
Yeah,
my confidants, those are all the women that have helped me, all the people that have helped me heal and to like really build and to strengthen myself. Healing the sister wound, I think, has been a huge part of all of this.
yeah,
Um, Understanding that when women hold each other, when women listen and witness to each other and each other's triumphs and each other's pain.
yeah,
Like that is a big part of my healing journey as well. So all the women around me, I want to really give gratitude to. I've been very blessed,
yeah,
and it takes time to know who to connect with. It takes time to decipher through because we all have those challenges of that experience of maybe not always having sisters that are really there for you.
right.
But through the years, I've been able to really decipher and hold on to those beautiful women and also build some new relationships. And those have been the best and most intimate and healing relationships. And from my time with Medicine Mandala, that is one of the biggest lessons that I took from that was the connection to other women,
Mm-hmm.
the intimacy that women can share with each other, and the way that we can support and build and also just like create magic when we come together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's when you talk about the woman and stuff. I'm thinking like the different type of intimacy and being able to be yourself with these with other women, like with friends versus with family. Excuse me. Like I have a lot of aunts and cousins, and there's like I'm Mexican. There's like
Mm-hmm.
hundreds of them, and literally you go to a party with them, and they're great, but it's mostly like, what are the kids doing? What are their successes?
Very
And
surface.
it's super surface. Like
Yeah.
you try to get deep, and somebody, like in this Christmas dinner, I try to like go deep, or somebody asked a deep question, and one of the cousins was like, "I no,
Don't start.
don't start the deep.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about something." And I was like, "Oh man, I thought it was gonna be a good dinner, and here we go with the
Yeah.
stupid shit." It's like, fine, but okay, hueva,
Yeah, because you're trying to really build relationships with our blood
yeah,
family, no?
yeah,
Yeah.
real ones.
Yeah.
And but also, but when you build them, like you said, with like all your friends, the community, to me, my friends have been the most important. They've been,
Yeah.
yeah, re healing the mother wound.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
um I have a cool sister. Maybe she, maybe she doesn't think I was that good of a sister, but I love her. I'm older, entonces pues de ahí el bullying, ya sabes. Sorry,
Sí.
sorry. But with the friends, with older women, to me, it's been such a healing experience to be able to sit and just say it straight up,
Yeah.
and have other women not freak out about what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and see me
Mm-hmm.
and listen. And then they share, and I'm like, "Oh, tú también? You feel the same? You feel the same? Or you've been through this before?" And that opens up. Oh, what a relief! Um, and yeah, what a gratitude! Like, really, thank God is for that
Yeah.
ability to connect with those relationships and in that space.
Yeah.
Like, the medicine mandala or algo
Yeah.
así, where you're learning about earth, but I'm sure they're also sharing, and nobody has any pretenses or
No.
past connections to, other
Yeah.
traumas that, um, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sitting in like multi generational circles, like sitting with other women and you talk about the mother wound, I definitely can relate to that. Just being able to be held,
Yeah.
to be listened to be witnessed by other women that are of age that have experience that can say, mija, you
Yeah.
know, can hold you, don't go that way, or,
Yeah.
you're doing great. Because sometimes, you don't get that from family.
Right.
So, and even like, like you say, having conversations with cousins. I grew up with a lot of cousins. I have a lot of female cousins. I have a lot of, um, all of my sisters. But we didn't have a lot of deep conversations. It was very surface. And at times it was very competitive too,
Yeah.
you
For
know,
sure.
very suppressing as well. So then I did the work that I had to do, and I really can say this with a lot of love, that I've been able to be a good influence in my family by just healing myself and doing my work and then just showing up, but continuing to show up. That's
Yeah.
where it's at. It's continuing to show up, because I couldn't feel like really complete when I was just sharing all of this deep, intimate, loving time with my sisters that are not my blood relatives,
Mhm.
and then spend time with my family and not be able to relate to them.
Yeah.
I I needed to change that.
Yeah.
And it took a lot of work, and it's taken a lot of work, and it's still taking a lot of work. But I can see all of my sisters and my mom, because that's my core.
Yeah.
My sisters and my mom and our children.
Yeah.
Um, that we're healing.
Yeah.
That we're healing. We're doing the work. We talk about things that are a lot more than the surface level, and we're helping each other grow. I can see it and I can feel it. And it just, there's no more alcohol involved in my family. We don't have parties with alcohol anymore. At least, with my group of my sisters and my mom, like nobody drinks anymore.
That's
And that's
great.
so huge.
Yeah.
It's such a win for our family, because we come from such a long lineage of people that suppressed, their emotions, their feelings,
The pain.
their pain, as also as their spirit, because of all of everything that has happened, right? All of the colonization, all of the things, there was a lot of having to like really suppress the spirit, because we are people that really want to be tending to the land. Like that is the life that I live. Unfortunately, I also live in this realm, and fortunately, so I have to work. But the majority of the time is like I'm with my land as
Yeah.
much as I can, and that brings me so much joy and peace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where are you living at now?
Right now, I live on a little nursery. It's a private nursery in El Cajon.
Nice.
Yeah, so I have a little piece of land that I get to tend to, and our dear friend Jillian just came over and
Okay.
helped me. Like,
Jillian.
yep, shout out, Jillian, helped me work on my land a little bit more, and like do a food garden instead of just an herb garden.
Okay.
So yeah, that was huge, and it didn't take that long, and I just
No.
needed a little support, a little like different eyes to show me,
Right. The
and
possibilities.
yeah, the
Yeah.
possibilities. And now, I'm out there watering my plants, my
There
little
you go.
sprouts that are coming through,
That's wonderful.
like excited for these cover crops, excited for what new life is coming, you
Yeah.
know.
Jillian is great. Jillian Willing. If anybody here wants to start their garden or get help, reach out to Jillian. She's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. She's helped me. This is my second garden that she's helped me build. She is an amazing, intuitive
Mm-hmm.
gardener.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she knows her stuff.
She does. And yeah, she helped me here with the irrigation, and I took a couple of classes with her when she was over there gardening with friends. Yeah, she's brilliant. She's
Yeah,
my sister
that's
from
right.
another mister. I love
Yeah.
Jillian.
A lot of love for Julia.
See, and her connection to the plants. She's she's always doing that. Let's do smell and tell. She gets all the plants. ¿Qué es esto? I'm like, oh, that smells amazing. Right. She gets so excited about it.
Yeah.
Um,
I love that energy from her. She has such a childlike energy, and
mhm.
my daughter loves her. We have such a great relationship with her, because my girl needs aunties, and aunties
Claro.
like her are just so
For sure.
great. Yeah.
For sure. That's great. That's so cool that you have your space and you're tending to the land. It's been like all the things that I've done for the healing, que las juntas, the retreats, and yoga, and somatic therapy, and compassionate and great plant medicine. The best for me is barefoot and just putting my hands in the soil and pulling weeds, and oh my God, there's strawberries here, and this is actually
Yes.
growing, and the beans are coming up,
Yes, I agree.
It's just so soothing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I get what you're saying about wanting to be tending to the land. And I do want to say that is amazing that you get to hang with your family and there's no alcohol.
Yeah.
Um, in mine, todavía toman.
Yeah.
they're not falling over like maybe we were in the 80s,
Yeah.
but there's still, and it's fine, and no judgment.
Nope, no
It's
judgment at
just
all.
it's hard to show up and there be no distractions and just okay, we're gonna get in there, whoosh, like
Yeah.
that connection. Um, so congratulations. I mean, that's beautiful. La
Yeah.
neta, way. It's
No,
like,
it does feel really good. It feels like a huge win for our family. My
hmm
my sisters are all in their 30s or 40s now too. In my 40s, my mom is in her late 60s or mid
hmm
60s. And so,
jovencita.
sí, todos estamos jovencitas, pero
Sí,
todos estamos haciendo algo bueno
right.
y cambios grandes. We're all making big changes in our family or within ourselves. And it
hmm
shows, and just for us to be able to meet um with like a clear intention and an open heart
Right.
and to just, be fully present, that takes a lot of courage, a lot of vulnerability. And yeah, this was the time for us to be able to do the work that we're doing. And I know that we're doing work not just for ourselves,
Yeah.
but for our lineage. Like,
hmm
I feel it. And I'm so proud of my family. Like, I'm so proud of them. I'm so proud of my mom. We're doing a lot of work. And, it could be so easy to just be angry
Yeah.
at like what was. But I don't have time for that.
No.
I don't
Ain't
have time
nobody
for
got
that at
time for that.
all.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Puro amor.
Puro amor.
Uh-huh.
Puro amor. Yeah.
So, does your family, like, are they? Well, maybe you could just tell us about. I would like if you want to talk about how you started or you figured out how to, because everybody knows you get sick, pues, no, el té de cebolla, at least that's
Mm-hmm.
what they would give us, el té de
Mm-hmm.
manzanilla, always, since I can remember. But so, how did you get more connected to remembering,
Yeah.
these
The
these
plants.
plants and
Mm-hmm.
and
Our
how to
allies.
process them, how to work todo eso.
Okay. I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Yes. So growing up with my great grandparents and my grandparents in Mexico was such a privilege. Sí, por favor. It was such a privilege to be able to witness them and the way that they lived life. I was a child, I was very young, so there wasn't a lot of like, this is how you do this is how you do this. It was more of like watching, witnessing, come and help, you know? Um, and so I am the first granddaughter. And so I was
Oh,
my grandma's and my grandpa's assistant.
nice.
I was around all the adults. And so I had
Like
the
it used
honor
to be.
to
Like it
learn,
used to
yeah, like it
be.
used to be. And so from them, I learned how to be of service to the land, how to tend to the land, and how to speak to the plants.
Mm.
Um, but moving to LA at 9, there was a big uprooting. Um, we moved to Compton, so there was not a lot of land around us, and it was just a different time. It was the late 80s. It was the late 80s. I lived in Compton during the riots, so it was
Wow.
a very intense time. There was a lot of violence. So all of that really was kind of building a lot of anxiety in my body. And I carried a lot of anxiety for many, many years. And when my grandparents passed away, first my grandma and then my grandpa passed, um, that is when the changes happened, like big, huge changes happened in my life. That's when I met Yaya and I joined Medicine Mandala and I was doing the Vipassana retreats and I was taking yoga and learning meditation. So everything kind of
Tus
all,
abuelitas ahí
uh-huh,
dándote.
ellas me estaban guiando. They were guiding me the whole time. But um, what the biggest like direct calling to the plants was, I set up an altar for my grandparents because I was feeling very alone and lost in the world. I didn't know what I was doing. This was during my 30s, so this is very, on time, on point, as far as like it's a huge transitional
Yeah.
time. And so building the altar for them, started cooking the foods that they used to cook for
Mm-hmm.
me.
Mm.
Epazote was like number one. That's the one that came through. And then just praying to them, talking to them, speaking to them in real time, and just honoring my grandparents was what brought me to the plants. They told me that I should work with the plants and the herbs that I grew up with, like manzanilla and or chamomile and
Mm-hmm.
epazote and cilantro, and then just, with corn, a lot of corn, a lot of beans,
Yeah.
and connecting to my ancestral food opened up the door for me to be able to then have more ability to connect with the plants and to be able to learn from the plants. Also, of course, learning from my teacher, Erin Yaya Merriman at Medicine Mandala, learning from Marisha at School of the Sacred Wild, because of course there's a lot that goes with all of that, being able to really understand how to work with plants and what
Right.
constituents and how to pull the constituents from the plants, and different menstruums, different, you want to do, if you want to do a tincture, if you want to do an oxymel, if you want to do glyceride, all of those are all different. But, it just began with really working with nettles and a nettle infusion, drinking a nettle infusion for 30 days. That
Mm-hmm.
was like my intro, my gateway
Mm-hmm.
to the plants
Yeah.
in
That's
that
so
realm.
trippy. That's what I'm doing. This is like day 8 of nettle infusion every.
Yep. And it just changes you.
Yeah.
It changes your cells. It
Mm-hmm.
changes the way that you feel. It really like gives you like the nourishment, deep nourishment from Mother Earth.
Yeah.
And you feel it, right? Like,
Así me siento. It's
see.
been this yesterday. I noticed, and it's funny you mentioned that because it's been. I think I'm on maybe day 9,
Mm-hmm.
9 or 10. That I'm like every day. This whole thing of nettle.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more. That's from yesterday. If I didn't finish it.
I love it. Yeah. That's how
And
my
I learned
kitchen
that
is.
from you. I'm like, oh, Nazira does it with
Yeah, with the little strainers.
the little strainers.
Yeah.
Um, yesterday I noticed, oh my, because I've been having like this issue with my heel, como que
Mm-hmm.
me duele el tobillo, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Why does it hurt? The acupuncturist is like, well,
Inflammation.
for sure, you know, todo lo que me comí en tamales y cosas en Navidad, and so yesterday at night I was drinking the tea and I didn't put it together, but I was like, it doesn't hurt. Like it's been all day and it hasn't hurt. And I'm on day 9 or 10 of the nettle. And also, pues ya no estoy comiendo lo que me comí
Uh-huh.
toda la Navidad, which was mostly just extra sweets. And
Yeah, it's the
le pegué
sugar.
al gluten cuando no debo
See,
de. Yeah.
see. Pero see, you do notice once you start, you know, drinking it for a certain amount of time, when you really commit to your own ritual, to like
Yeah.
really self-care,
Yeah.
you can see
Yeah.
the changes. And once you do that, it's like you don't want to go back.
No.
I don't have a day that I don't have herbs. Every day
Right.
I drink an herb. Every
Yeah.
day it's sometimes, it'll be the same herb for 30 days. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes I mean I've been able to work with different herbs for quite a few years now. So I just trust myself and I trust my intuition, and I look at my apothecary, I'm like, okay, today this is what I
This
want.
one.
And sometimes, it'll be like, okay, I'm going to do this for 30 days, and
I
it
drink
feels
that.
great too. It's just whatever my intuition guides me to do is what I do, and it's always right.
Are there some that you're not supposed to mix?
Are there some herbs that you're not supposed to mix? Well, there's some herbs that some people can't take,
Right.
like pregnant people should not
Mm.
take any emmenagogues. So herbs that will, kind of help thin the lining of the
Of the
uterus.
uterus.
So there's herbs like that. Herbs that you shouldn't mix. Um, I want to say that, the herbs that I work with are mostly nourishing herbs,
Right.
and nourishing herbs are safe for all people
Okay.
of all ages, and that are not gonna cause any side effects, or also not have any contraindications with like prescription
Right.
medicine. So like nettles, oat straw, what else? Nettles, oat straw, linden. All of those herbs are so like gentle.
Like milk thistle.
Milk thistle, those are different. That's a different
That's
category of an herb.
okay.
because that's not necessarily a nourishing herb. That's more of an herb that's going to help you detox. That's going to help you cleanse. So that's a stronger kind of herb. And so that would be in a different category. That's
Okay.
something that I would be more mindful of. What is, if I'm having a
What are you using?
consultation with a person, I would ask the person what else are they taking, and then going with that and seeing if there's any counterindications
Okay.
with
So
those
people can
type of
call
herbs.
you to do these consultations.
Yes,
Okay, good.
I want to say that I am in transition of working on my website and getting just getting myself set up to be able to have consultations so that people
Wonderful.
can go online on the website, click the button, and we can set up an appointment to do consultations. The majority of my consultations happen when I am vending,
Right.
and I was thinking as I was driving over here, I was like, wow, like, because that's one of the things that I kind of I give myself a hard time about, that I don't have a website.
Mm.
um and
It's
then
just such a it's
it's
just a
it's
pain in
a
the ass
lot of
thing. Yeah.
work. It's a lot of work. It's money. And
Hmm.
also I'm always evolving. I'm
Right.
always doing something different.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to really like be like, this is what Nazdira does.
Right.
Nazdira, I do a lot of different
Yeah.
things. But one of the things that I was talking to myself about this morning is like, look, the work that I do is on the ground.
Yeah.
I go to the community and I'm there. I'm consistent. And that's where people can find me and they can come and talk to me. And if they need to talk for 30, 40 minutes, I'm there. And
Hmm.
that's when the consultations happen,
Right.
But do I want to have it be more organized? I do.
Right.
But the truth is that, Nazira's Natural Remedies is not my only business. It's not the only thing that I do. It is not what's paying my rent.
Hmm. Hmm.
It does help support me. It is my passion. But I have to do other things so that I don't have as much time as I would love to really invest
Right.
into like creating this whole, business where, that's all that I'm doing.
Right.
Yeah.
Ahí
So,
vamos.
yeah, pero ya casi.
Yeah.
And everything that I do though, everything that I do, everything that I have my hands in is with love and with passion, because everything that I'm doing is really good. And I
Yeah.
would like to, if you don't mind, I'd love to
No.
talk about that real quick.
Do it. Do it.
So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
it really brings me a lot of excitement to kind of look at my life and see how I am a community member.
Hmm.
I've been in San Diego for 25 plus years, and it took me a long time to say that I am from San Diego now, and it took me a long time to like really like want to be part of this community. 'Cause I've always I'm solo. I like to be solo, and also I realized that I needed community. So right now, what I am doing is I am working with a good friend. His name is Charlie. He runs this program called Lineage Meals, and we're making meals for the children at the Waldorf School.
Nice.
And that's really beautiful,
Yeah.
because the meals that we're making are all organic, no seed oils, lots of love, lots of intention, lots of prayer that I bring into this space, and also like all the best ingredients that are available. And when you think about that, like we're feeding we're feeding these children like the best food so that they can be able to receive the nourishment, be able to still be active and be able to learn. Like that is, to me, like
Yeah.
such a service from love.
Hmm.
And I'm really happy that I'm able to do that. I also get to be, out in events here in San Diego, vending my herb products, my herbal remedies. And I just am like really feeling very, very grateful that I get to have these opportunities. I'm also an educator, so I get to like run herbal camps for children. I get to teach children how to work with plants, how to connect to their relationship to the plants and to Mother Earth. Again, all work that I do with so much love and passion.
Yeah.
So I'm just really happy that, this is what I'm doing. Just stopped working with Maya Moon.
Hmm.
I was working with Maya Moon for quite a few years, making truffles. And again, that was another.
Those were amazing.
Yeah, thank you
Yes.
so much. It was such an honor to be able to work with Maya Moon and to be able to to work in service to cacao.
Sí.
And I did that because I was so in love and still am so in love with cacao and the relationship that I have with her and the way that she has really helped me open my heart, and yeah, I'm just so grateful for all the work that I've done. Prior to that, I worked in special education for almost 20 years. And, again, just being able to be of service to his community.
Simply the lineage food, making these meals for the kids at school. I mean, that right there is the way, to keep kids' brain health, gut
Yeah.
health, nourishment health, spiritual health, all the love energy that you put into that. I mean, most of the schools are getting like this cafeteria food that's just as bad as
Yeah.
food from the prisons.
It's soulless food. It's food that
Yeah.
doesn't have nutrition. It's food that's dense, that doesn't really give any energy to our
And it
kids.
makes you sick.
It does make you sick. And what are we doing, with our children if we're not helping them be their best? These are our future leaders.
Yeah.
And if our future leaders, don't have a healthy gut biome, then, their brain isn't going to work very well and they're not going to be able to make decisions well.
Yeah.
So, and they're not going to live long because they're sick.
Right. And, a lot of, somebody was asking me the other day, what do you mean we can't have seed oils? Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Like, I know they're inflammatory.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that, this is all things that we've had to reprogram ourselves from, growing up in the ways that we grew up, eating the foods that we ate. Seed oils, canola oil. I know in my family, canola oil.
Con mazola, no estás sola.
Exactamente. Sí, that's exactly.
We're
so.
like, but we cook with manteca de puerco. What? Yeah.
And then they were like, yeah, manteca. After you going back to it, you got to go back to the roots. Basically, it's just going back to your roots and using the products that we had before.
Grandma used to use.
Yeah, and so
Beef tallow, manteca de puerco.
And my mom, I've been talking to my mom about that, just like, hey, mom, because she has arthritis, and I know that it's all inflammatory. So talking about the oils, they're inflammatory. We should not be using oils to cook our food. We could use ghee, we could use beef tallow, we could use duck fat, we could use lard, you could use butter. You could also learn how to steam your food. You could roast your food. There's so many ways that we can cook our food without using the seed oils. They're not good for us. Yeah. They're rancid. They make us sick, and they cause inflammation in our body. And it's really important to just like make small changes in your life that are not going to feel like it's going to deprive you from enjoying your life, but just really educating yourself. I think most importantly is just educate yourself. Do your own research. Tune into what resonates with you, what is aligned, what feels like truth to you. Because if it feels like truth to you, then you're going to do it.
Right.
If you're just listening to somebody's rhetoric and, going with whatever somebody else is saying, you're not embodying it. And when you don't embody it, you really can't make the changes. You have to really embody it. But in order to do that, you have to educate yourself.
Yeah.
You have
and
to
be in tune with what you're feeling. Like right now, you mentioned the nettle, and I'm like, yeah, ayer no me dolía ya el pie, and it's been 10 days. To like see how this affects your. And my mom had a breast cancer diagnosis when she was like 50.
Mm-hmm.
So, 26 years ago. And one of the things that she got ahí empezó, ¿no? Let's read this, let's read that. Never again masola at the house.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She cooked with coconut oil or butter.
Yes, coconut oil too.
And we had a lot of olive oil, but she said, well, we can't heat it up. No, that's just for this. Well, maybe once in a while she did it, but se le curó el cáncer. With all the food, with everything, never again anything processed, anything from a can, anything. I mean, it was insane where I was like, well, we can't eat anything.
Yeah.
You kind of have to get used to it. Digo.
Yeah.
But now it's hard to go anywhere. Even those tacos. I'm like, I'm sure you marinated that shit with canola.
Yeah.
What oil did you put in it?
What kind of oil are you using? Yeah. It is really hard. And to be honest with you, it's such a challenge. I just had a conversation with my daughter yesterday.
About this?
About food, about junk food, about snacks and things that are not healthy for you. So she wanted me to buy her a bag of pretzels at the gas station, and she's asked me several times for the same, and I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I can't do that. It's not good for you. I have a bag of homemade bread in the back of the car that I can give you a nice
Right.
piece of. And she was just like, no, I want this. And so we had this whole thing, and I was going to drop it, but if I drop it, it's going to happen again.
Yeah.
So we talked about it and talked about it until it was done. And there was a lot of tears and there was a lot of frustration. And what I understood from that is that she felt like she was missing out because she wasn't getting a bag of Doritos or a bag of Takis. Instead, I would get her an alternative brand, which she's like, I'm tired of the alternative option. But I'm like, you don't understand. And this is where, this is where the marketing
like
is
my
doing
kid
such a great job
saying,
at trying to brainwash
brainwash
our
you.
children. She feels like she's missing out on something.
Yeah.
That she cannot have a bag of chips, or she cannot have a bag of pretzels,
Yeah.
or she cannot have a candy that has red dye number 9 or blue dye or yellow dye, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's just like she's missing out. And there was so much emotion to that.
Yeah.
And it's bigger than that. It's bigger than that. The society is like, it's hard to be a parent during these times. And I'm sure that in any generation, they had that, that frustration. But it's just like, I feel like all I'm trying to do is protect her
From
the poison. And she's just like, give me some of it. She was like, it's almost my birthday. Can I just have that for my birthday? And there's all this guilt that's just like, let me just give it to her.
You're
But
a good mom. You're doing the right thing.
no, it's not good for you. And I'm not making a good choice if I give it to you. I can't reward you and say, oh, you're doing a good job, so I'm going to give you a little poison, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Like,
why
how
is
does that make
why is
sense?
poison and sugar a reward?
How
like,
does
what?
that make sense? And that she turning almost 13, bless my daughter's soul, she goes, it doesn't make sense, Mom.
Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm upset. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
It's so confusing.
Yeah. Well, hang in there, because
Yeah.
así estaba yo con los míos for years. My kids were like,
Yeah.
what do you mean? And there's nothing to eat here. And there's like all these, fruits and
Yeah.
vegetables. And they wanted the Cheerios. They wanted the Frosted Flakes.
Yeah.
They wanted the Takis. They wanted this. I never had sodas. It was always like, what? Santi in particular would sneak out wherever there was a party and be like, the chiquitito.
I've seen all of that.
I'm like,
yeah.
no. And
Yeah.
now, he's 19 now. Hombre. So now he tells me like, Mom, I remember you would never buy us Lunchables. So I'm like, I want a Lunchable. I'm like, that's plastic food that's been processed. That's not even real. That's chemicals. No,
But they see
we're
the
not getting
commercial
Lunchables.
and it looks so appealing, and it's
And the other kids in school are
yeah,
eating it.
exactly. And that's the problem. But after all of that, I mean, she knows. There's no other option.
No.
And not in this household. You're going to eat healthy food.
Yeah. And eventually, like right now, the healthiest person in my house is my 19-year-old. When he was, the soda kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
they come back.
we're always eating healthy. We're always
Yeah.
home cooked meals, pero que los taquis, que esto. And now they're like aware.
Mm-hmm.
He's healed his own gut microbiome. No more stomach aches, after years of trying this and that. And I'm not going to eat this and I'm not going to eat that. They create their own awareness, but so you're planting the seed.
Yeah.
When you're 13, you used to have all the influence of like, well, the hormones, and I want to be like the world. And so, yeah, I would say hang in there. And any other mom that's listening to this, that the kids are telling you, how come I can't eat this?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Stay
we're the
strong.
weird person with vegetables with limon and sal, because that's better for you.
Yeah.
That's crunchy.
Yeah.
Crunch on that. And
Stay
so
strong.
Stay strong.
We're making good choices, for our kids.
Yeah.
Even if we're going against the grain,
And also, sometimes there's like this addiction that has been created, and so you eat these pretzels and it's like, I mean, I haven't eaten pretzels in years because I can't eat gluten, but I'll go for the Siete brand sometimes, and I'll think I'm eating healthy, but it's still processed. It's still in a bag. It's still, and now Pepsi bought them, so now I can't have them anymore just because I don't know what the fuck Pepsi's gonna do, you know. So, but just like the crunchiness, and so there's all these other things that come along with why we're craving these foods that we need to be aware of. So,
Yeah.
I think that's beautiful work that you're doing,
Thank
even though it's
you.
hard.
Thank you.
Punk rock, but yeah.
Yeah, and you know, addiction does happen at a very young age, and it starts with food, I think.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's
Mm-hmm.
other things, but definitely it's
Well, food
something
is
that
the
we have
easiest
to.
one to get a hold of.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're, the sugar, the dyes, um, yeah, whatever. I mean, I do see a lot of younger kids now figuring out, well, it's better if I eat this grass-fed beef or grass-fed butter versus.
I feel
And
better.
Billy and I were trying to get raw kefir today, right, Billy? When you're under the weather, and now there's no raw kefir in the store.
Mm.
¿Qué está pasando? Like,
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
So,
And I think, you know, going back to, you know, how I've been able to tune into the plants, I think, and I know that healing my gut biome was a huge one because would have not been able to really tap into, you know, the gut brain connection is real. Obviously,
yeah,
we all know that. But like healing my gut biome allowed me to be able to receive the information from the plants
right.
and just to be able to also learn, you know, this new, it's a whole new thing, it's a whole new skill that it is innate, it is within us, but it did require a lot of work. And I'm still, you know, I'm still a student, I'm forever a student. There's so much to learn, there's so much to learn. And for me, you know, like I don't have the capacity to carry um all of the information for all of the plants.
Yeah,
I work with a certain amount of plants, and the majority of plants that I work with are the plants that I grow because that's where I am able to receive a lot of the information from is from watching them grow, from tending to them every day, from watching how they grow. Do they need more sunshine? Do they need, you know, more water? Do they grow above the earth? Are they growing as a root? You know, all of the things. What are their flowers like? Everything that the plant communicates with us is how I am able to really understand and receive that information.
yeah.
So it's not like a large I'm not I don't carry all of the wisdom of all of the plants is what I should say.
Yeah.
It's just the plants mostly that I grow and
What are you
tend
growing
to.
right now?
Right now what I have growing in my garden is forever and always lemon balm.
Mm-hmm.
Lemon balm is always in my garden. I have mint growing in my garden. I have motherwort growing, rue, thyme, rosemary, chamomile is growing in my garden. Uh, I have mugwort.
Chamomile grows right now in the winter.
Uh,
La mía se me secó.
Is that it had
I
yeah.
guess
Well, in my
maybe.
in my in my garden tower it does. I have a
Okay.
garden tower
Okay.
and where I have it set up. Yeah, like some things still grow and some don't. It just
Yeah.
depends on how much sunshine it gets cuz I have
True.
yeah. I have some
Yeah.
parts of my land that have a lot of sunshine.
Yeah. When Julio built this building we're sitting in, it's beautiful and it's big, and here we are. But it covers a lot of the sun that hits on that side of the
Oh.
garden. So there's still,
Yeah.
there's raspberries and strawberries growing right
It's
now, and it's literally
beautiful.
January.
I love that.
Una
Yeah.
papaya. What?
Yep. It's so
Uh,
amazing, right? What
it's
you can grow.
amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the chamomile is not flowering, but it's green.
Okay. Okay.
It's
But it's
green and
alive.
happy.
It's
Yeah,
alive.
it's
Yeah.
alive.
I need to
It's
I need to
alive. And then
put
I
some
just
more seeds.
covered my earth with all these cover crops and clover. So soon I'll have clover as well. And so those are the and nettles will grow wild in my garden. Cleavers grows wild in my garden. Chickweed
Nice.
grows wild in my garden. Those are not ones that I plant. Those are just
They're
they
just
come in the
there.
season. So those will be coming soon.
That's great.
Yeah.
Nazdira's Natural Remedies. So, on Instagram, because even on the webpage, I think most of us are connecting through the media. So
Mhm.
they can find you at Nazdira's Natural Remedies.
On
Yeah.
Instagram,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll
And
put the link on here too.
yeah.
But
Yeah, right now it's like, you know, unfortunately, you know, I lost my business website. Somebody hacked it, couldn't get it back.
oh, shit.
Or I should say my business IG. So then I had to rebuild again. There's a lot of rebuilding. But you know that
Yeah.
it's a game. It's a game.
Yeah.
If you go out into the community, I think that's where you really build the connections.
For sure.
And so that's what I've been, you know, feeling the most of is just being out in the community and like building relations with the
What are your
people.
any next markets or
I have a
events coming up?
market coming up this Sunday. I'm so excited. I'm going to be at the Jacamba Hot Springs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're having a really amazing series. I want to say it right. I don't want to say it wrong. So it's Ojas,
No sé. Hojas.
OJAS. Um,
Hojas. Pues hojas o
sí,
ollas.
algo
Pues digo.
así. Bueno, este,
We're trying.
yeah, there's an event happening there, and
Mm.
that's all related to just like nourishment of the winter and like really deepening the relationship during the winter time.
Okay.
Um, and we're gonna be there. A couple herbalists, or myself, and then I think another a couple herbalists are gonna be there as well. We're gonna set up just a little space from 10 to 12 or 10 to 4.
Inside the hotel or outside in the little patio?
To be honest with you, I don't know
Inside.
exactly where we're gonna be,
Mm-hmm.
but it sounds like it's gonna be lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got an email, and they're gonna
Yeah.
have a really beautiful setup.
That's cool.
So I'm really excited for that.
It's a good time to be out there because.
Mm-hmm. If you haven't been to the hot springs in Jacamba, they're really beautiful. It's a great aesthetic, great food, great environment. You could stay there. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Have you been?
Yes, but we went in August, so oh my God. Don't go in August.
Yeah, don't go in August.
It was crazy hot. Yeah. Well, when I went, the hotel wasn't ready yet. We stayed at these little casitas that they had and walked around the beautiful lake that they rebuilt. Yeah, it's a great project. These chicks are doing a great project.
Yeah, they're doing amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can also get a day pass, go in the evening. That's my favorite. Go
Yeah.
under a full moon in
Yeah,
the
Bea
nighttime.
siempre nos anda diciendo, let's go, let's go. Gloria just went. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always sweet.
That's cool.
So I'll be doing that, but you can always find me. I'm doing a lot of markets in Logan because that's where I want to be. I want to be in the community where, there's not a lot of access to this.
Yeah.
I want to open up the doors and also be able to help the señoras remember that we have this within us.
Yeah.
That's my goal. And so in the future, I hope to be teaching a workshop in one of the community centers, maybe Sherman Community Center, and like teach a workshop to the señoras.
I just missed the one you had with is it the mujer? ¿Cómo se llama? Mujeres?
At the Mujeres Brew House.
The Mujeres Brew House. It was a couple Sundays ago.
It was the Limpia.
The Limpia. I was totally set to go. Y luego, yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to use the phone for a couple of days. Dejo todo. And then I'm like, oh, shit.
I forgot.
I missed it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to keep track. So thank you for bringing that up because I do not always respond to text. I do not always respond to IG messages. No. I'm so sorry. It is hard to keep track of all of the things. And there are events that I want to go to. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes that's one of the things I've been doing. Like, okay, just leave it. Leave it 2-3 days. I mean, during the week, and if I have, commitments or appointments, yes, pero lo demás, it's like...
Yeah, it's too hard to keep up with the demand of being accessible to all people at all times. Yeah. That is not the way that we should be living. No. I keep my ringer off all the time. And that's something that at times frustrates people because I never answer my phone on the first call. I just don't. I'm not available all the time.
I mean, I grew up in the era where there was no cell phone.
Yeah.
Así que before, if you weren't at home, you weren't going to pick up that phone call anyway. Mm-hmm. And it's nothing personal, but for me, it's part of trying to live a slower life and not like, ding, ding. Oh, shit, let's go. Who was it?
Yeah, it's really important. You're never like present when it's like that. And then also,
it's kind of like the food. It's like this drug, this dopamine hit.
It is definitely a dopamine hit. And I too grew up in an era where we did not have cell phones, and also mothers didn't have cell phones while they were raising their babies.
Yeah, it was great.
And it is very, very different. Yeah, it is very different because what I've noticed is how, moms really can't be there for their children when they're on their cell phone.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of disconnection. And
yeah, especially now that you're trying to show everyone what you're doing. So it's like, oh, this is a story. Mm-hmm. Here's my baby. Here's what I'm doing. It's like, okay, that's cool. I want to see your baby, but also,
are you really being present?
Dejar celular.
See, that's the hard part. I love learning from other people and their stories and what they're sharing, and also what do we keep for ourselves and what is sacred, and how much of our time are we giving away?
Right.
Like my time is sacred, and it isn't personal, but I do want to have times where I'm not accessible. I want to just spend time with my children.
Yeah.
I want to just spend time by myself.
Yeah.
I want to tend to my plants without having to answer a phone call
Right.
or post a video, because it's not always about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And it's hard, it's like a learning process as well, like the food, like this, like that. Um, but it's good to talk about it. Feels good to talk about it. Like, yes, it's a struggle, but yes, here we are trying to do counterculture, like algo diferente
Mhm.
to take care of. I'll notice if I'm down the Instagram trap for like a while. Even my son helped me set up this alarm like after 20 minutes. You've been on here 20 minutes. Is it
Oh,
time for a
good.
break? See?
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
I'd like to set up that.
Yeah, they have these little this thing. I mean, you
Uh-huh.
can remind me how to do it. Remind us how to do it. But it's otherwise, it's kind of like the tea. Like after 10 days of drinking the tea, I'm like, oh, this is working. I feel different. I feel
Mhm.
stronger. I feel after certain amount of time on the phone, I just start to feel neurotic. I'm like, oh, I
Yeah.
feel I'm in a bad mood and my
Life.
eyes are
Yeah.
hurting.
Life
What the
feels
fuck?
like kind of dense.
Yeah,
It
like
changes
leave
the
that
way that you
phone.
feel.
It's te roba.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a whole other
It
podcast right
is
there.
another podcast, and as far as like how much of our energy it's pulling when we kind of get stuck in that. I've felt that, and I felt that these past few weeks even more. Well, the fires have been really hard.
Yeah.
Just witnessing, I have a lot of friends in LA have
Mm-hmm.
lost their homes,
Mm-hmm.
family that have lost their homes, and so
Oh,
it's really like, kind of just like feeling like, what can I really do from here? Um, Feeling their pain, and also like having to pull myself out of that and be like, okay, you're not of service if this is, you're going down this hole. You have to take
right.
care of yourself and tend to your nervous system, and then you can actually be of service.
Yeah.
So just, yeah, I felt that a lot.
Yeah.
And so just coming back from that, just really finding the balance of like, I can help, but I don't need to like martyr myself.
Right. Andar de boya, crying and
Yeah,
feeling. It's like,
because
no.
that does no service to anybody, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. Send some money, call, send support.
Yeah.
Pero estar ahí
Take
todo el día
action.
viendo, yeah,
Yeah,
take
it doesn't
action is
help.
just no.
No, it doesn't help.
Yeah.
Just take action and pray. A lot of prayer.
Yes.
Yes, a
A
lot of
lot of prayer.
prayer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Sending prayers and good loving energy for anybody that's struggling with that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
For
Sending
sure.
lots of love to all the
Yeah.
people that are navigating all of this, and knowing that, as everything else, we will come out of this.
Yeah.
Things will change. The tides will turn.
Yeah. It's crazy to see how the community gets together and they do so much more sometimes than the government. Just friends, you'll go fund me de aquí and other
Mm-hmm.
people's
Mm-hmm.
organizations. And so what, for example, what is a good herb that you might recommend or good teas to take to soothe the nervous system?
So yeah, the nervous system. I love nettles. Number one, I'm gonna always go to nettles.
Nettles.
I know that you said you had oat straw in that one as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oat straw is amazing for the nervous system, to calm the nervous
Okay.
system. Nettles is grounding.
Mm-hmm.
Nettles is nourishment. Oat straw is also like just grounding. It helps also calm the nervousness in the body. So I would work with those if you have access to those. There's chamomile. If nettles is not an option, and you can always go to the store and grab a couple of tea bags of chamomile, and just
Yeah.
a strong, strong brew of chamomile with some warm whatever type of milk that you drink,
Okay.
and a spoonful of honey really calms the nervous system. There's also lavender, and that's pretty accessible as well.
Yeah.
That's really calming to the nervous system.
Lavender tea. Yeah.
Lavender tea. But if you have access to fresh lavender, if you have access to, or freshly dried lavender, freshly dried chamomile, I would make strong brews of those. When I said a couple tea bags of it, is because when you go and get a tea bag of tea, I mean, the amount of herb that is in that is such a small amount that it really isn't going to do much to shift the the nervous system or shift the energy in the body. So you really want to work with a larger amount of herbs.
It needs to be stronger.
It needs to be
Okay.
stronger. It needs to sit a little bit longer. And if you can, open up the bag and then, throw all the herbs in a little pot, throw the hot water in there, let it sit for a little bit, and then strain it and drink it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do you get most of your herbs from? Besides the ones you grow.
Yes. Besides the ones that I grow, Oshala.
Hmm.
Oshala Farms is a farm in Oregon. I had the honor of going to a camp there, like an nerdy herbal camp, which was like, to
So
me, those
fun.
are so exciting,
Yeah.
so fun. You get to, be around the herbs. They grow only herbs there.
Oh
It
wow.
is amazing, amazing. I remember us walking in the field and the scent of chamomile, just this wave of chamomile as you walk. They had chamomile. They had, what else did they have? They had all the amazing herbs there that you can think of. So that's one of the places that I always get my herbs from
Oshala.
if I
Okay.
don't have access to. Then there's Red Moon Herbs. That's another one that I order my herbs from. They have a great nettle and oat straw combo that they sometimes will have a great sale
What are they
on.
called again?
Red Moon
Red moon
Herbs.
herbs.
Yeah, those
Red
are the
moon.
two ones that. But I am part of like an herbalist community through School of the Sacred Wild, and so we fortunately are able to like share herbs with each other. I have a good friend of mine. Her name is Maya. She's up in Northern California,
Mhm.
and she has access to a beautiful farm up there. I can't remember names. I try, but I can't.
It's okay.
There's a beautiful farm up there that she in San Luis Obispo that
Okay.
she's where she's at, and she tends to that land, and she'll send me like calendula and lemon balm
Mm.
and red raspberry leaf, freshly dried, and it that right there that helps me like really tune into the fact that we have
Yeah.
so much abundance that helps me feel rich.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel rich having access to
To
this
herbs.
to this
Yeah.
high quality like products that only happens when we like share from, when we trade from hand to hand. That's the
Right.
only way,
Right.
so yeah, that's where I get most of my herbs from.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What about an herb or a tea for? I know you do the elderberry syrup for when
Mm-hmm.
people are having like a cold or
Mm-hmm.
like what could we give Billy here to help us?
So, something that's really accessible that we mostly always have in our pantry is thyme and oregano.
Thyme and oregano.
Yeah. So if you
Mm.
have, thyme and oregano, if you have a little herb garden, add thyme, add oregano. If you don't have that freshly um,
I have
accessible,
thyme. I don't think I have oregano, but
yeah, it's great. It's
yeah,
easy. It can take over your garden, so you have to like be mindful where you
right.
plant it. But those two herbs are so accessible. Like I
You
said,
make
you
a
can
tea
go,
of it?
you make a strong tea of that, and then you strain it. You add a nice spoonful of honey. You add a nice, two lemons or a lemon and a half, and just like very strong tea, and drink that throughout the day, and that will help you heal. Like,
Okay.
yeah, those are like,
Yeah.
remedies that from your cabinet, the kitchen cabinet, right? These are
Yeah.
grandma remedies. These are very accessible to all. Um, whenever there's someone that says, "Oh, I'm having a sore throat," or "I have this," I'm like, "Go to your kitchen. What do you have in there?" We usually have lemon. We usually have honey. That's something that That's something else that you can do is just a spoonful of honey or two spoonfuls of honey and squeeze a whole lemon in there. Stir it, stir it, stir it until it becomes a little like a syrup.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe add a little bit of hot water and drink that.
And drink it.
That's really, really good as well. Ginger. Ginger is so good. If you have ginger root, you can, clean it up, peel it, and you throw it in the blender with some hot water, a whole lemon. Wash your lemon, throw the whole lemon in there, blend it up, strain it, add some honey, and drink that.
Okay.
So there's a lot of ways that we
There's
can
a
stay healthy by just going into our kitchen and seeing what we can
what you
use.
have.
Apple cider vinegar is something that you should always have in your pantry. Not Bragg's. No more
No?
Bragg's.
Bragg
No.
doesn't work?
No more Bragg's. Katy Perry bought it, I think, and then
Oh
I don't know,
shit.
someone else bought it, and now it's not.
So which kind of apple cider vinegar? Just
Any
local?
there's other ones, local, organic, unfiltered, raw
Right.
apple cider vinegar. There's other ones that you can buy. I
My
don't have
dad
a
used to
name of
have
it.
a teaspoon. I mean, we all did. the apple cider vinegar every
Mhm.
day.
Mhm. It's good for you.
Yeah,
It's good
dilute it
for
in
the
water.
sugar, like your blood levels, your sugar levels. It helps you not get like it helps sugar cravings.
Okay,
It helps food cravings. It helps you lose weight. It helps the gut
the gut
flora.
flora.
Yes,
Hmm.
apple cider vinegar was so healing for my gut flora. I used to have cystic acne,
Hmm.
and I started drinking apple cider vinegar every day, and that helped me heal my sugar addiction. Um,
You just put it like what tablespoon with water?
I would put more than a tablespoon just
Okay,
because I tend to go over the top. I'm like, if something works,
let's
I
go.
could do it. Let's do it
Uh
extra.
huh.
Doesn't always work that way. But yeah, apple cider vinegar did. So I would get a gallon of
Hmm.
water and I would pour a couple, I don't know, one, two, three, and
Oh,
then add a spoonful of honey, shake it up, and then I would drink that throughout the day.
okay.
So I worked in special education during that time. And that's when I really was noticing how much food addiction was happening around me because a lot of people like to numb with chocolate,
Right.
and not cacao, but chocolate
Yeah,
or
sugar.
diet sodas and chips and all of that. And working in the education system, everybody was eating
Hmm.
all the time, and I couldn't do that anymore. So I started, doing
Yeah,
that, and that helped me like be able to like,
to crave it,
yeah.
and it got rid of your acne.
It got rid of my acne. It changed my gut flora.
Hmm.
I didn't have issues that I used to have, just like a lot of gut issues.
Yeah,
IBS. I used to have IBS.
and that's
I used to
gone.
wear glasses. I don't wear glasses anymore.
Wow.
Nettles healed my eyesight.
Hoy me voy a tomar más
No, de
nettles because
veras,
I'm like
de veras. Like a lot of things changed. I used to have my teeth. I healed my teeth with oil pulling and tongue scraping.
coconut oil. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, we
yeah.
do
I
that too.
had what is that gum disease? It's a gum disease. I can't
Like
think of it.
gingivitis or
Yeah,
no
something where
sé.
my gums kept receding over and
Hmm.
over and over, and I had had gum surgery, and it just was not getting any better. And I went to the dentist, and she said, we were gonna have to do the surgery again. And I was like, nope, we're not gonna do that. I'm gonna do this instead. And I started oil pulling, and I was going to the dentist every month, and she was checking my pockets, and just um, actual evidence
Documented.
and
Yeah.
documented evidence that it did change and it did heal me.
So the
Yeah.
oil pulling, how do you do that? Because you take just a spoonful of coconut oil and stick it,
Mm-hmm.
just move it around your mouth for 20
So
minutes, or le pones clove, or le pones algo
you can. So I do it all kinds of different ways. It just depends on, what I'm doing. Sometimes
in
I'm
the
in a
day.
really great routine where I got everything
Yeah.
set. And sometimes, I'm doing the bare
Ah.
minimum.
Uh-huh.
So it just depends. But if you can, yes, I would get like a little bit of coconut oil and I would add some essential oils like clove in there and put it in your mouth and swish. Or even like peppermint, just peppermint oil
Hmm.
would help, but in the morning, this what my routine is. I
Hmm.
wake up in the morning, I tongue scrape. I go and I grab a spoonful of oil and I put it in my mouth and I'm swishing as I'm getting ready, as I'm doing my daily morning routine, 15, 20 minutes. Then I go outside into the earth and I spit it out or in the
Yeah.
trash can, never
Yeah.
in the
Don't put it
sink.
in the sink. Yeah.
Never in the
Clog
sink.
up your sink.
Yeah, never in the toilet, never in the shower.
Yeah.
Just throw it in and if you're going to throw it on the earth, like put a little earth
Cover
on
it
top
up.
of it. Yeah, you cover it up. You don't want your animals to eat that.
Right.
But what that does is that it helps cleanse your mouth. The tongue scraping cleans the ama from your tongue.
Hmm.
And we can do that with our toothbrush, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
It's a huge difference. That has really changed also the way that I taste food. My
Okay.
palate has changed completely too because I'm so sensitive. I can taste everything.
Hmm.
But then the oil pulling, so you put it in your mouth, you switch it around every day before you eat. Before you eat, don't put anything in your mouth.
Yeah.
And that helps clean your mouth flora. It helps heal cavities. It helps heal your gums. It helps heal inflammation in your gums. It helps heal bleeding gums. Um, yeah, it's helped me tremendously, and I've been doing
Yeah.
this for many, many years
Yeah.
now. And it's not something that I stopped doing. It's something that whenever I travel, whenever I go somewhere, I
You bring
carry
your.
my little jar of coconut oil with me and my tongue scraper. And it's made a huge difference. I go to the dentist not very often, maybe once in a while just to see how my teeth are doing and to get a cleanup. But other than that, I don't do anything
Yeah.
else. I just take care of my teeth at home. you know.
Yeah.
And how was it before there were dentists? You know, how was it? What were people doing before there was a dental system? Before there was a medical system,
Yeah.
we were doing something to take care of our teeth, you know, or our bodies, and just
Right.
going back to that.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole tooth situation thing changed for me also with the coconut oil. Years ago, a friend of mine told me, "Oh, if you just do the oil pulling," I'm like, "What?" Read about it. She gave me a book about it,
Mhm.
and I'm telling
Mhm.
you, the kids were little. Um, yeah. Go to the dentist. Todo está bien.
Yeah.
Yeah, I only go like once in a while, honestly, just to get it cleaning. But because, and I don't do it every day. I'll have like rachitas where I'm like, yeah,
Mhm.
every day, and then I forget for a couple of weeks, then I go do it again. And but yeah, now you've inspired me to start every day, every day.
Yeah.
Es que sí sirve. Las rutinas te dan como una tranquilidad. A mí me
Mhm.
gusta,
A mí
¿no?
también me gusta.
Ajá.
Yo siempre, I've always been a creature of routine. I
Right.
like to have structure.
Yeah.
I like my structure. I like to be able to do, you know, certain things during the morning that help set me up
Right.
for my day. And it helps me just be more successful in my life.
Yeah.
You know, when I self care is so huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
So I have to wake up early to self care, then I'll wake up early to self care. But that is priority.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the society that we've grown up in, you know, and I don't know, maybe for you if it was not like that, but like there's a lot of martyring of ourselves, women, to give, to be able to be, I don't know, to be acknowledged, to be witnessed, to be seen, to be um, important, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in people's lives. There's a lot of giving of ourselves, and that creates a lot of bitterness,
Yes.
and it's nobody's fault but your own.
Yeah.
So the only thing that you can do is just take care of yourself, because no one is going to take care of you the way
Yeah.
that you're going to take care of you.
Yeah. Take
So
care of yourself and ask for help.
yeah, and ask for help. Yes,
No one's
asking
going to
for
be
help is
reading your
hard.
mind.
No, I
Yeah.
know that one's hard still.
Yeah.
Asking for help is hard sometimes. But I
Yeah.
see taking care of yourself is so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Me too. I used to think it was like funny to, like, I would read these things about how, like, oh, before you go to bed, the moms with the babies, get out, put another washing machine in another laundromat and
Mm-hmm.
clean here and do this and clean that. And it was like, yeah, you're getting the price of doing all these things. And I'm like, fuck that. Like,
What
that's
price is
just,
there? Yeah.
¿cuál es el precio?
Yeah.
You're going to have a bitterness,
Mm-hmm.
get pissed off, and also you enable that nobody else has to do
Yeah.
anything, because why should they even do anything if mom's taking care of
Yeah.
it all?
They don't know how to
No.
do it. So then what
Yeah.
generation are you raising now? A generation that doesn't know how to take care of themselves, that doesn't know
Yeah.
how to do things because
Do your
mom.
laundry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
Clean
lot.
this up.
There's a lot of unlearning. There was a lot of unlearning, and really understanding
I'm learning.
why we do the things that we do as women. You know, I'm getting that more and more. You know,
Mm-hmm.
understanding that, you know, this is not the way that you need to be in order to receive love. You are worthy just as you are.
Yeah.
You don't need to overextend yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you can just and be kind. You don't need to be nice. You need to
Yeah.
be kind.
Yeah.
And there's a big difference.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I did a whole podcast about that.
I like
Kind
that.
versus polite.
Yeah.
Because polite and be nice.
That's
Es un
fawning.
acto,
Yeah,
no?
it's fawning.
It's fawning. It's an
Yeah.
act. It's in Mexico they would call it like muy bien educada.
Mm-hmm.
Está muy bien educada. No,
Sí.
she's está domesticada a que
Mm-hmm.
haga lo que tú crees que tiene que hacer.
Sí.
Versus if she's taking care of herself, self-love, self-kind, then I can be kind to you
Yeah.
with my good boundaries of not doing things for an exchange of you
Mm-hmm.
thinking that I have worth or
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Exactly. Out of guilt.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of those things. I think, yeah, all of that is really important. Those are all things that I've had to really work through, um, unlearning the
Mm-hmm.
fawning,
Mm-hmm.
the being domesticated. I like that word that
Yeah.
you used, because that is something that I really rebelled against. In my family, is just to not be
Because you know it's
domesticated.
wrong. You know
Yeah,
it's
and I
wrong.
won't play into that
No.
role. I won't play into it. I did play into it for a long time, and I was just like, fuck that shit.
Yeah.
I can't do that. That is
No.
not who I am. It's fake. And
It's suffocating.
it
It makes you
is.
sick.
It
Mm.
does. It does. And I see people that, that carry that energy, and it's just, it makes me sad because it's you inflict that cell. It's
Yeah.
like you're creating this gel for yourself
Yeah.
that you can't go outside of, and I can't live like that.
The
I
prison of
choose.
politeness. No,
Yeah,
no, no.
I can't. I'm not polite. I'm sorry. I'm
I'm
not
not polite and
sorry.
I'm not sorry. Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. Kindness, and when when you've done the work, been through, like you said, the hypnotherapist and reaching out for help, and que la yoga and vipassana and blending with the earth and all these wonderful connections, you are you can be in a space where your essence is kindness,
Yeah.
and it's not like this fake politeness, or but your essence is kindness, and you can say yes, or a nice soft no when you don't want to do something,
Or
and
let me think about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, let me think
Yeah.
about that, let me get back to you,
Yeah.
instead of the initial oh yes, and then why did I say yes? Because
Yes.
that was my domestication. That's the training, to say yes when you don't really want to
To
say
people
yes.
please.
Yeah.
Yeah. To make somebody like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that, those are all things, that as I'm getting older, I'm able to release and feel good about, and not feel afraid,
Right.
that I might not, I don't know, meet people's standards. That
Right.
doesn't matter anymore.
Right.
Those are stories that, that were ingrained, that were told, and I don't subscribe to that
No.
anymore. And it feels good. It feels liberating,
Yeah.
because life continues. Life is still hard. Life is still challenging. There's so many things that just continue to.
You don't need that extra burden of having to people please this person or that person, or quedar bien aquí,
Mm-mm.
quedar bien para qué? They're
And
not going to
for
pay
yeah,
my rent.
exactly. And for who? Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed thinking about that. No, I'm
No.
not. No, it,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. Yeah,
Yeah.
those things don't matter.
Which is another thing, like, that's important, I think, that I see, that I sense in you, and in all this healing work, is las exigencias, no? These demands, not just for the other people, but that we put on ourselves,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
versus, no, self love. I'm going to do up to here today. Se acabó el día. Leave the phone, read my book,
Mm-hmm.
or I don't know. To me, it's been really huge to see, like, para qué me exijo tanto? ¿Para quién le estoy exigiendo tanto a mí, a mi cuerpo?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Who's keeping tabs on
Yeah,
how much shit I get done in the day,
yeah,
or how many words I wrote in my journal, or
yeah.
how many plants I tended to, like,
Only me.
only me
Yeah, and who's my biggest judge is
is
myself, right?
myself.
Yeah, there's a lot of really giving yourself a lot of grace. I've learned to give myself a lot more grace than
Yeah,
I used to before, and that has helped me like be more tender towards everybody else.
yeah,
It's important to give grace and be compassionate, and realize that at the end of the day, like this life, this one life that we have, this
yeah,
one experience that we get to have in this body, in this time, in this moment, is so quick. It goes so
yeah,
fast. It goes so fast that it's like we have to really enjoy what's around us. And as I get older, every day I realize how miraculous this life is, and how perfect it is, perfectly orchestrated. Everything, every little event that happens, timing, as far as like when things happen, because sometimes I get frustrated. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should already be here, I should already be
right,
doing this, I should, all the I shoulds. But
yeah,
no, everything unravels in the most divine time.
yeah,
And it's the work that you put into it.
yeah.
That's it.
And the capacity to be present with it, right? Instead of,
Yeah.
ay, cuando llegue aquí, well, then you're not present with what's happening right now. And yeah, it's a whole art of living.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Ay, pues, thank you, Nas.
Mm,
This has been really fun,
thank
really
you.
cool. I'm gonna put all the ways to reach you, Instagram or webpage coming soon, but
Yeah.
Nazira Natural Remedies,
Yeah.
and I'm just, yeah, I'm really grateful that you were here, that we're sharing this time together,
Thank you.
and thank you for hopping on this.
Thank you. It was really beautiful, really special. Thank you for having me. I feel really blessed to have this opportunity to just be
Oh,
able to have this wonderful conversation
yeah.
from the heart of all the waves of life and all the ways that, that we are interconnected.
Hmm.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Aho.
Oh.